Happy Monday, everyone. Join Jackie Mondays at 10. I am a little early this morning, but happy to get started on a Monday. Now, today's topic is about attorneys behaving badly, meaning powers of attorney, someone appointed under a power of attorney. So when someone is appointed as a power of attorney, they have duties and obligations to the person that has appointed them. If they're not meeting those duties and obligations, what's the consequences? What do you do? So a perfect example is under a financial and legal power of attorney. The attorney appointed has to act in the best wishes, the best interests of the person that has appointed them. They can't mix their own money. They can't give gifts to themselves and their family. They must keep proper records of what is paid for, keep books of account. If they use cash, they have to keep the receipt of when the cash was taken out and what cash was used to pay for. They need to keep a running sheet. So what happens if an attorney is not doing the right thing? When we had a Royal Commission a few years ago into elder abuse, there were changes then to our powers of attorney in Victoria. This happened in about 2015, 2016. So they've been around now for a while, these changes. You used to have to prove a fraud charge. It used to have to go to the police and for fraud to have to be proved for an attorney to get into trouble, and for there to be some kind of compensation order for money to be repaid to the person who had appointed the attorney. Because quite often the person who's appointed the attorney has lost capacity by that stage. So there has to be someone else looking out for this person, or else the attorney could get away with it. And so now we have specific criminal offences in Victoria for an attorney who doesn't act in accordance with their proper duties and obligations. Now, often, who is the person to pull the power of attorney up? Well, it could be another family member. It could be a social worker. So it could be some person who's got an interest in this person's life, or it may not come about until after the person themselves has passed away. And then the process of administering the will begins and the beneficiaries start taking more of an interest. And they're like, well, hold on, how come there's so little money left? Or what went on while our mum or dad was still alive? You have to be quite quick in that situation because you've only got about 6 months from the person passing away to do something about the power of attorney. So there are no actual reporting obligations of a power of attorney. So an attorney doesn't have to report to the person who appointed them, doesn't have to report to the other family members, doesn't have to report to an authority. So it is a really high obligation, but has a lot of room for being abused. So who is the jurisdiction in Victoria? Well, that's VCAT. So VCAT has the guardianship and administration jurisdiction in Victoria. It's your first point of call. So if you suspect someone under a power of attorney, the attorney having done something, you don't actually have to make the accusation. You just lodge an application with VCAT for VCAT to call for information and get the attorney to account to VCAT, because you've got no power to get them to account to you. So then an order is made for the attorney to provide all sorts of information, and VCAT can then order a full investigation. VCAT has the power to make compensation orders and the power to then refer it to police for charges and criminal prosecution. So when someone appoints you as a power of attorney, there are a whole lot of obligations. Make sure you're aware of those and make sure you're diligent about it. Sometimes an attorney is actually not doing the wrong thing, but they are pretty lax or negligent sometimes in keeping their records. So they may not be using money for themselves. They may not be doing the wrong thing technically, but if they're not meeting their obligation to keep records, then they could also be stripped of that power as well. So If you are an attorney, make sure you're really careful. Actually do your job well. Don't assume that everyone will be happy with what you're doing. So, yes, I think that is probably enough said for now on this topic. If you have any more questions about it, by all means, reach out. Email address is above, and you can go to our website as well, tbalaw.com.au. All our personal emails are available for you on that page, so you can email directly any questions, or of course message us through this Facebook page. If there are other topics you want me to cover, by all means, I go live every Monday, so I'd love to hear if there's a topic that you particularly want me to cover. While these videos are live, they do get saved onto the page, so it is building a huge resource to return to. That videos tab on our page has hundreds of videos. It's a great place to start if your friend or family member have a legal challenge. And of course, if you know of anyone who may be facing this problem with an elderly loved one having lost capacity and the attorney running a bit rogue, then of course, either comment on this video by tagging their name down there, or you can share it with them via Messenger if you want to keep it private. Have a great week. I'll catch you next week.